look, we've gone out today, so we're not in it, but actually you'd take that any time than a clear formatted draw where it's just the same teams in the final phases.
Saw the social media kind of reaction, and a lot of people were just like, oh, why is she called up? And I'm just like, have you not been watching her play?
Chelsea versus Man United on the last day of the season, which feels like it's going to be massive. Hello and welcome back to Pitch Perfect, HaytersTV's women's football show. I'm Aisha Galati and I'm joined in the studio today by Layla Mermelstein and Ali Flam. Thanks for joining me, guys.
Thanks for having us.
A Pitch Perfect debut for both of you.
Yeah.
Exciting times.
Yeah, great, okay.
No need to be nervous. We have a great time here at Pitch Perfect. So, yeah, great to have you on board. As always, it has been a jam-packed weekend of women's football, most notably the FA Cup. Wow, there were some great fixtures. The magic of the cup just continued and continued. We'll be diving into all of that and much more on today's show. Well, guys, it feels like only one place to start, and the biggest FA Cup tie of the weekend, which was Man United, who went to Kingsmeadow to face Chelsea. This was a really juicy fifth round tie.
Good. Yeah.
A great match. I was actually at Kingsmeadow. It was a great atmosphere. The United fans were bringing the noise. It was close. Of course, it was Naomi Girma's extra time winner that saw the Blues get over the line. Ali, I'll come to you first. What did you make of the match?
Obviously, I wasn't able to watch it, so I was just keeping an eye on like the Guardian were like doing little kind of sub-tweets and stuff. So yeah, it was 0-0 until like the 78th minute or something like that. Yeah. So it was crazy. But I think going into it, I think everybody knew that it wasn't going to be like either Chelsea or United. You knew it was going to be like a really tight game and it would be kind of down to the final minutes. So yeah, it's just unfortunate to see United out of the FA Cup. I think it's the first time in like 3 years they won't be in the final. So it'll just be weird to be watching it and not see them. But yeah, as you said, Naomi Girma to score her first goal for Chelsea and it to be that important, I think, yeah, it's made the money worth it, hasn't it?
Yeah, well, talking of Naomi Girma, I was lucky enough to be able to catch up with her after the match, and here is what she said.
Very excited to have scored my first goal, and yeah, it was such an important match for us to win going into the international break as well. We wanted to leave on a good note, and I'm happy we were able to do that. And yeah, I think getting to experience the first taste of it last season, winning at Wembley, and I think as soon as I came in, I just learning how important it is, feeling it when I play in the games as well. We knew going into this game it was really important, and we knew we'd have to give our best to get a result.
Layla, this was a rematch of last year's FA Cup final. In that match, Chelsea dominated. They won 3-0. This one was a much tighter affair. Do you think that's kind of indicative of how far United have come and how much progress they're making?
Yeah, definitely. I think there's a lot of positives for them to take from the game. Obviously, 2-1 is a much better result for them than 3-0. They're sitting above Chelsea in the WSL table right now. They're in their debut season in the Champions League. They got through against Atletico Madrid. So I think there's a lot of really good things that they can take from this season. And this result, obviously, it's sad that they're out of the FA Cup, but they'll get another bite at Chelsea in the League Cup final. So maybe they can get their revenge.
Yeah. I mean, in 17 previous league meetings, they'd only won... Sorry, not league meetings. In 17 previous meetings between the two sides, United had only won once. That was in a semi-final, FA Cup semi-final a couple of years ago when they reached the final against Spurs. So, yeah, not a great record against Chelsea, and that continued in this match at Kingsmeadow. But Chelsea, the holders, still on track to maintain their crown there. Arsenal and Man City also won their FA Cup ties, so 3 really strong teams still left in the competition, Ali.
Yeah, no, it's interesting, it's exciting, and obviously Charlton Athletic as well, they won yesterday. I think we need to mention them and their form this season too. I think that's 28 games now unbeaten for them, so yeah, I'm kind of hoping they get kind of one of the bigger teams like the Arsenal, Chelsea, City, and kind of see what they have for us this season. Yeah, I think it'll be really special.
Charlton was an interesting one because they were playing Women's National League side, Oxford United, and it needed a sort of red card and a late goal for them to get over the line. But that is part of the magic of the cup, isn't it?
Exactly. I think that's what we want to see, and it's the same for Birmingham City as well.
Oh my God,
they're the last 2 non-top flight sides in it, and as things stand in the WSL2, they're the 2 sides that are going to get automatic promotion. Like you said, Charlton are like 9 points clear at the top of the table. It's looking really good for them. but obviously now they'll get a chance to sort of test their mettle against, you know, the opponents they'll be playing next year. So it was really good for them.
Definitely. Well, talking of the magic of the Cup, there was, of course, this news that the format, the structure of the FA Cup might be changing, seeding those top teams, kind of creating a tournament bracket similar to kind of a knockout competition like a Euros World Cup style. It got quite a lot of backlash based on people saying you're then going to eliminate these sorts of ties. That those plans have now been put on hold. And actually, it was really interesting because this was something that Mark Skinner was asked about in the press conference on Sunday. And here is what he had to say.
I've said it before and I say it again. Don't change the format. It works. It's really exciting. Like, look, we've gone out today, so we're not in it. But actually, you take that any time than a clear formatted draw where it's just the same teams in the final phases. So I think from our perspective, although even after we've taken the loss today, I'd still keep the format.
So Mark Skinner saying there that even though it resulted in him and United going out at maybe an earlier stage in the competition that they might have otherwise done if this new tournament bracket came in, he's still happy for the cup to be left as it is so that you get those juicy ties. I mean, that is what it's all about. You've got a team like Birmingham who are able, they're playing Chatham Town, who are the lowest ranked side, 8-0, massive scoreline, but you've also got these ties, Man United versus Chelsea, two of the best teams in the country right now, battling it out to make a quarter final.
I think that's what it's all about, really, and I think that's why the cup sort of appeal to people still, is that you've got both sort of ends of the scale, and I think that changing that is sort of really takes away from the magic of the cup that we talk about. And I think it's great to see, that Mark Skinner is being really honest about that and, really considering what it means for his side and, the viewership. I don't think it's worth changing, honestly.
Exactly, yeah. You never hear anyone say the magic of the WSL. It's the magic of the FA Cup, because you see these bigger teams like the Arsenals, Chelseas, but they're against the kind of lower tier teams with less funding and that sort of thing. And I think that's what brings the excitement. Like, you want to see Arsenal playing in these smaller stadiums for, these clubs in kind of rural areas with such a small attendance, but it just makes it more exciting. So yeah, I kind of like that Mark was honest about it and he kind of said what we're all feeling. We don't want the FA Cup to change. If the men's hasn't changed, why is the women's going to change? It doesn't really make any sense to me. But at the same time, look, I do respect that they are trying to improve the funding for the FA Cup and do something about it. I think they've just gone about it in the wrong way.
Yeah, well, more to come on that, I'm sure, in terms of what happens next. Sonia Bonpastor also agreed with Mark Skinner around liking the current format. A word on Chelsea, because they faced a bit of criticism this season in a way that they hadn't last season. Their dominance in all domestic competitions last year, as we saw with their domestic treble, this year had a couple of WSL losses against those big teams and just haven't been dominating in the same way. They have bounced back after losing to City, losing to Arsenal with these results. And I think that has to say a lot about the makeup of the team and what Sonia Bonpastor is embedding. It's been a really tough time behind the scenes there as well, with the sort of Paul Green situation as well. What do you make of that, Ali, and how Chelsea is sort of showing what they're made of?
Yeah, it's a tricky one. I think Chelsea are just held to a completely different standard to any other team in any other league. I think anything but perfection from them is almost worrying. Like, if Arsenal or, the likes of Spurs had the exact same copy and paste Chelsea's form this season, we wouldn't be talking about it. Like, it's crazy. I think if you do something 100 times, you're not going to get the same exact outcome of it. So it's just a bit of, I think people just need to acknowledge that football is football. We can't, you're not always going to win every single game. And to just, call for Sonia to be sacked after losing 2 games, I think it's almost crazy. So, I think people need to lay off the pressure just a little bit. Like, they're still in the Champions League. They're still, I mean, realistically, they're out of the WSL now, but they're in the FA Cup, they're in the Sub-Cup final. It's not like they've been knocked out of all competitions,
I agree, and I think if you think about the ties that they lost against leaders Man City and European champions Arsenal, like, those are really tough fixtures. I think when you look at, football leagues around the world, you don't want it to be dominated by one side either. You look at, some of the other European leagues where, Barcelona run away with it every year, or Bayern Munich run away with it every year. And, like, in terms of attracting viewership, and we talked about, improving funding, you want tight games, you want, leagues where the champions change every couple of years. That's what makes it exciting. That's what draws viewers to it, is a competitive league. And obviously, it's great that Chelsea have this talent and that they've got this funding, but you kind of want to, spread out the love a little bit and see, new teams come up, new players come up.
Yeah, for sure. I think also Man City have just been so outstanding this year in the league that it would have been hard for any team to compete with that, right?
Yeah.
Chelsea were invincible in the league last year, but they had a few draws here and there. City are really powering through with those wins. It's impressive stuff. Of course, they did lose to Arsenal, but on the whole, that gap at the top of the table tells a story.
Overall, I think they've been incredible this season. I don't know, the City team this season compared to last year, it's like a different team altogether.
Yeah.
Like it's like something has been drilled into them and they've just like woken up. But
they haven't put a foot wrong.
No, it's really, really exciting to watch, because I think last year, like, fans have been crying out for the WSL to become more entertaining, because last year we just knew Chelsea were going to win.
Yeah.
But this season you don't know. Like, obviously now it's City, but we don't know who's going to be second or third. We don't know who's going to qualify for the Champions League. And I think that's what makes it more exciting and increases viewership. Yeah.
Well, I do want to do a bit more of a deep dive on how the WSL is looking going into the international break. But just to round off the FA Cup segment, just a recap on the scores. Birmingham 8, Chatham Town 0, West Ham 1, Brighton 2. Surprised by that one or not with the way things have been going?
Yeah, I think it was expected for Brighton to win that one, I think, especially with Fran Kirby back in form as well, for her to come on back after injury. And I think it was a goal and an assist for her. Yeah, I love that. I think, West Ham have been a little off and on this season, but we were expecting that from Brighton, or at least I was anyway.
Yeah, I agree. I think that one is a bit expected. I'm kind of hoping that West Ham can still pick it up for the rest of the season. There's, 6 games left. Be good for them to finish strong. They're still in a bit of danger. I'm sure we'll come to that.
Yeah.
So they kind of need to, pick up some momentum and get through to the end of the season well.
Arsenal saw off Bristol City 3-0. I think the biggest news there was Olivia Smith being stretchered off. Ali, how important is Olivia Smith to this Arsenal team?
Yeah, she is crucial. I think games where Arsenal played without her, you felt the kind of emptiness there. So for her to go off, especially against Bristol City, it was just an unfortunate one. It looks like it wasn't as serious as kind of everyone initially thought, but I think we almost over-rely on her a little bit, because she just brings something so unique to the squad that we didn't have last season. So, I think she's probably one of the last players we want to get injured, definitely.
Man City, unsurprisingly, saw off Sheffield United 4-0. Oxford United lost 1-0 to Charlton, meaning that there are no Women's National League teams left in the contest. And Liverpool saw off their Merseyside rivals, Everton. Oh, Ali, I want to ask you about this one, because Liverpool, they were sitting bottom of the WSL for a long time this year. And the recent form, they're picking some points up. And now beating Everton is a statement victory, right?
Oh, I could sit here all day and speak about Liverpool. I think I've sat down and I watched that game yesterday, and a few of my friends were like, why are you watching it? Like, it's not, there were bigger games to watch.
Yeah.
And I was just like, we saw at the start of the season that Everton had was it Vinola? She scored 3 goals against them in the Merseyside derby. So I was sitting here and I was waiting, because Liverpool have, they've Martha Thomas now, they've Denise O'Sullivan, they've done great recruitment. They're kind of, they've won 2 games now in the WSL 3, so they're getting there. But I think yesterday when they played the Merseyside derby, that was a statement win. I think it's a statement of intent, and I'm really proud of them. I'm really happy for them, because look, they've had one of the roughest seasons to date, I think, and there's been a lot of talk about the on and off the pitch stuff. So I think it's brilliant for them.
Yeah, and at the time of recording, the Spurs against London City match has not taken place, but that's sure to be a good one. So excited for that. Well, I do want to move on to the WSL. Now, I think we probably are all in agreement that Man City are going to win the league.
Realistically,
I think it's
they should.
Yes.
Unless things go horribly wrong.
Something would need to go horribly wrong. I think the more exciting thing is that the battle for European spots, but also the battle for relegation. Of course, it's not automatic relegation this season with the league expansion, but a moment to talk about the battle for Champions League, because the way it stands, you've got Man United in second on 34 points, Chelsea on 33 points, Arsenal on 29, but with 2 games in hand.
They've got that Brighton game that just got rescheduled as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, and Spurs also on 29 points. So it's exciting times. Now, how do we think this is going to go? Because we were talking about Chelsea just now and them being so perfect for so long, and they're now in a position where they might not get European football. Layla, what are you thinking for the back end of the season? Sonia Bonpastor kept calling it the business end, and it really is the business end after this international break. Who do you think is going to grab those top three spots?
It's just inconceivable that Chelsea wouldn't be in the Champions League. They've been such a staple of it for I don't know how many years, and now, I mean, it's really good that it's gotten so tight. You know what we're saying about being engaging, being competitive, but I just can't see that they couldn't have European football next year. So I have to say that they'll be one of the two teams. Then it comes down, obviously Arsenal have the 2 games in hand, so you'd like to think that they can pick up some more points to get themselves really into that race. But then that means that Man United wouldn't get it. And, you know, they have also had some wobbles, but I think it's really tight. I think based on history, I guess, and also form this year, I reckon Arsenal and Chelsea will pit Man United to it, but I think it'll be really close. I think it could be like a last day of the season kind of thing.
Yeah, well, it is Chelsea versus Man United on the last day of the season, which feels like it's going to be massive. Yeah. Ali, what do you think? Who's going to be grabbing those remaining 2 spots?
I don't know, and I think it's absolutely crazy that we're sitting here speaking about Chelsea almost not qualifying for Champions League. Like, you think of the squad that they have. It's just, I don't even know. It's not like they've lost a load of games in the WSL either. It's just, I guess while they were growing, they kind of forgot to look back at the other teams who were growing behind them. And Arsenal have had that squad depth, same with City, same with United, and they're just almost kind of outpacing Chelsea a little bit. So yeah, I think it's just down to the upcoming games. I don't think Spurs have... Do they have big games coming up? I think it's against... maybe I'm getting it mixed up. Arsenal have Leicester and they have Brighton. Realistically, on paper, Arsenal should beat Leicester. Brighton might put up a fight because they have Kirby back. But yeah, like, I genuinely... I don't know. And I think that's what makes it so exciting.
I think you mentioned the talk about Chelsea not being in the European spots. I think the fact that we're talking about Spurs potentially being in the European spots is also incredible, because if you think about last season, second bottom, they finished 11th. And Martin Ho has worked absolute wonders on this team, and they are a team reignited, re-energised. You can kind of see their identity in the way they play. It's they mean business, and I don't think they're going to get top 3. Martin Ho has also been quite realistic about that in terms of some of the performances. He said we're not at that level yet, but I mean, what progress! And they'll be delighted that they're even in those conversations at this stage. And I'm going to go out on a whim and say it's going to be Arsenal and Man United who get the second and third spots. I feel like there's just something in the air that is turning in terms of the more, having more competition, that side of things. And I think it'd be good if it's 3 different sides. I mean, Man City, of course, aren't in it this year. That's obviously helped them in the league.
Exactly.
We'll see. Anyway, that's my rogue shout. Is it even that rogue? Maybe not. I don't know. It's quite rogue. It's quite rogue. Yeah, I mean, I gave you the record of Chelsea versus Man United earlier. It's not looking good, so we'll see. But
down to the last day is looking good for Chelsea.
We shall see. But exciting stuff. And the bottom end of the table, the WSL, we've got West Ham in 10th on 11 points. Liverpool in 11th place on 10 points. That's a bit confusing. And then 12th place, bottom of the table, Leicester on 9 points. Of course, they have a game in hand against Arsenal. But they're probably not expecting to win that one. So that's really close too. Who do you think is going to end up in trouble come the end of the season?
That's also a tough one. I think the way that Liverpool have been playing, and as you said, they made some really good recruitments in January. I was at the WSL game last weekend where they went to Kingsmeadow. Obviously, they lost to Chelsea as well, but they look again, like a completely different side. Like, I reckon they'll be able to sort of pull themselves out of that battle. Obviously, when it's that close, I guess there is a bit of pressure. Every game sort of becomes a must-win. You need points every time you go out. But I think they're pretty capable of it. I reckon they're going to save themselves. Between West Ham and Leicester, I think Leicester will end up in the promotion playoff. At the minute, I think it's Crystal Palace, who were relegated last season. So who knows how that'll go down. But I reckon it might be Leicester.
Yeah, I'm gonna copy there and say Leicester. I think they've only scored 8 goals in the WSL this season, that's just like, you need to score goals to win games and to get points. So yeah, for me, I think Liverpool are safe now. Touch wood. Obviously with Denise O'Sullivan, she's Irish playing.
Yeah, I was going to say you're a secret Liverpool fan over there. You're going to lift up your top and reveal.
No, there's such a soft spot for them. I think just this season, getting Denise O'Sullivan, but also Gareth Taylor in. I was listening to a podcast and Ian Wright said one of the best things that Liverpool have done for their women's team is get Gareth Taylor in. Completely agree with that. I think he's just transformed the team. So yeah, I'm hoping, my little soft spot for Liverpool now, I hope they'll stay in. But yeah, I think it's safe to say Leicester will, I think they'll be heading down realistically. Yeah.
Love a bit of Irish pride there.
Yeah, it's very important. Yeah, it goes a long way.
And another thing with Liverpool, actually, thinking about the recruitment they made in January, like, they could absolutely be the Spurs of next season, They finish relatively low in the table and then invest well in the summer and then start, really competing for top spots, maybe European football in a couple of seasons. I don't think there's any reason why not.
Yeah, totally agree.
Definitely could get the backing for it.
Yeah, you mentioned Leicester's inability to score. It was similar last season. Honestly, it wasn't great. They kind of just had a bit of a late flurry at the right time, and Crystal Palace last season were so far off it. But I'm going to agree with you. Leicester at the bottom of the table. Having said that, I think it's very likely they won't go down
Do you think
in the sort of playoff situation.
Really?
Yeah.
I think it depends. I think at the minute, Birmingham in second are only 1 point above Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
I don't know how that, if that switched, if Birmingham were playing Leicester, I reckon.
You think Birmingham? There we go. Well, that's going to be juicy when it gets to playoffs.
100%.
That is going to be very, very juicy. You mentioned it. It's an international break. I quite like an international break. I'm not going to lie. But we've had the Lionesses squad announcement and a first call up for Poppy Pattinson. Ali, well earned.
Yeah, I think so. I was a little bit surprised. I kind of saw the social media kind of reaction and a lot of people were just like, oh, why is she called up? And I'm just like, have you not been watching her play?
Yeah.
I think she brings kind of that element of physicality and kind of just courage, I think, onto the pitch. So yeah, for me, I think that was the right decision, and I'm really excited to kind of see, hopefully, her get some game time as well.
Yeah, definitely. And massive boost for Serena Wiegman in some of those injured players who missed the last camp being back in. The likes of Leah Williamson, Lucy Bronze, Alex Greenwood. I've missed others. Lauren James, there we go. And Hannah Hampton.
Hannah's back, yeah.
Yes. But of course, notable injuries in Beth Mead and Ella Toone. But this is really where it starts hotting up. It's World Cup qualifiers. We're in a tough group. We've got Spain in our group. It's only automatic qualification for whoever finishes top. Easing ourselves in, you would say, in a group with Spain, having to only play, I say only, I don't mean that in any other way other than it's not Spain. Ukraine away and Iceland at home in Nottingham in this window. These are must-win games for England, but you have to hope that with this pretty full-strength squad, that we should be able to get over the line in these, Layla.
Yeah, I agree. Obviously, there is an element of setting ourselves up well ahead of having to play Spain, because we want to be in as good a position as we can. You want players to be getting minutes and getting used to playing, especially for people like Poppy Pattinson that are just getting into the squad. But I guess it's also good for Serena Wiegman to see how she can start including the players that have been playing at youth level and really impressed. And this is, as you said, this is where it starts. We've got just over a year and a bit. There's 8 international windows now between now and next June. I learned today. So
Love it.
this is like this is day zero. This is where it all begins. So hopefully we can start positive. You don't want to peak too early, I guess, because it's quite a few games to go, but you want to get off on a good foot.
Yeah, I think on paper England are in a good position because, look, as you said, they have to play Spain, but they're not playing them just now. They're going to play Iceland. On paper, they should win these games realistically. And I think it's good for them because they can build up that kind of confidence before they go into Spain. They can kind of see these as, I guess, trial runs almost for the bigger game. But realistically, touch wood, England should win these games coming up. So, yeah.